Welcome to Radio Arizona RV. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV, and this is episode number 26. You can find us on the internet at www.radioarizonarv.com. You can also find us in iTunes. So we are available, and we have many different websites where we all have links together: sunpromfg.com, arizonarvpartscenter.com, hotboatropes.net. So we are available. We can be found. So today we're going to talk about Lippert Components and their purchase of Power Gear and Kwikee products. Now, this purchase isn't something that just happened yesterday. This actually happened about 2 years ago. So time has passed, and during this time it's been interesting to see the progress that's been made, because we get many complaints about Lippert Components and their purchase of Power Gear and the way things are being handled. Now, if we back up a little bit, we're going to talk about Power Gear just before they were purchased. Power Gear must have known they're up for sale, right? You would know that if you're going to be sold. And prior to their sale, all their prices went up probably 20 to 40% depending on the item. And it's a hard hit to take, because all of a sudden a $600 product becomes an $800 product. Or $750 products. Some things went from $200 my cost to $500 my cost, and that's not an exaggeration. And Power Gear, of course, they don't have anything to say about it. They don't seem to know when you talk to them. You can't talk to anybody above a person answer the phone. And not to badmouth the people who answer the phone at Power Gear. It's not their fault. They're just working there. So prior to the sale, the prices go up. The customer service was good, though. We could always call or email and get a response pretty quickly, and that was nice, especially by the email, because they really responded quick to that. So if we just had a part number and needed a price, we'd have it within minutes. And then they also had an online tool for the dealers, someone like myself, where I could go online, log in, and put in the part number and get a price. And it made it really easy to deal with Power Gear. So other than raising their prices, they're actually a pretty decent company to deal with. But after the purchase of Power Gear by Lippert Components and Kwikee products, things changed. Prices went up, of course. You got to pay for that purchase somehow. And now that's kind of what a lot of people say, whether that's true or not. But of course, they did raise their prices. And along with raising their prices, they're changing all of the Power Gear numbers that are populated throughout the internet. That's what all the dealers have. They have all these Power Gear numbers, all these charts and sheets with Power Gear numbers. So Lippert Components, in their infinite amount of wisdom, has decided to change all the Power Gear numbers to Lippert Component numbers. So now we're going to have two sets of numbers that will float around for years on the internet. They will not go away. There's going to be spreadsheets out there. There's going to be PDF documents. Some dealers are going to have Power Gear numbers. Some are going to have Lippert Components numbers. Some are going to have both. Some won't have either. It's like starting out from scratch. It's worse than starting out from scratch. It's making a mess of something that was already there. Why change all the Power Gear numbers? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's a boneheaded move. It's stupid, because it just makes more confusion. So now when we call Lippert Components, we have to have a Power Gear number for them to convert to a Lippert Components number. And that takes time. Sometimes they can't find things. Sometimes they look it up wrong. It's become a debacle. And even after 2 years, it's still a mess. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't gotten fixed up. It's improved a little bit in some ways. Like now the shipping isn't as ridiculous as it used to be. Power Gear was expensive for shipping. It seemed like any motor they shipped, it was going to be $40, no matter what, no matter where it was going. If it was going across the street from their building, it'd be $40. If it was going to Florida, it'd be $40. Arizona, $40. It didn't seem to matter, but they were consistent. So, hey, you just have to charge, and that's the way it is. But it's very unfriendly. It's not fair to the consumer, the RV owner. It becomes a very expensive purchase on top of, or expensive shipping on already an expensive purchase. But now with Lippert Components, the shipping has kind of leveled out. It's gotten a little cheaper and a little more easy to manage. It's more within line of what regular UPS rates are. So as a dealer, I can deal with that, but the prices are ridiculous. because Lippert has raised the prices as well. You know, there's another company called Umbrella Awning Bows that they bought about a year ago. We used to sell quite a few of those on the internet. But they raised their prices without notice to us over $20 per bow. Now, these things only retailed for about $72. So when you raise a dealer's cost $20, that puts that bow well over $100. You just can't do business like that. Think about that. Something that retails for $72 and the cost goes up $20. That's insane, especially overnight. And then it took them at least 8 months to get the right knobs to screw into them to tighten up. Now, that's a quality issue with Lippert Components. They have quality issues. I'm not normally one to really badmouth a company, but Lippert Components, they're bad. They have a bad reputation. They have bad business practices, and they're not a friendly company to deal with. And I have to call them every day because we get phone calls for Power Gear parts. And I don't mind calling because it's customer service, but having to call them and get bad customer service or bad information, it's not fun. You know, for example, we had a customer, his name is John. He was looking for a relay board or a touchpad with relays on it. And after doing some research on his end, my end, we finally get a number. I go to Power Gear, or Lippert Components, excuse me. They convert the number and say, yeah, we have this. We have about 2 of them left. And retail is going to be about $1,000. So I called John back, let him know. And he's, well, let me think about this, you know, because he didn't want to spend the money. It's a lot of money. And so he finally contacts me and says, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. So I call Lippert Components, double check the part number that they gave me. They say, oh no, that part's no longer available. They described the part, exactly what it was. It's no longer available. Are you sure? I just talked to him last week. I talked to you guys last week. You had 2 or 3 of them in stock. And then the person says, I don't know who told you that, but we don't have any. It's not available. Are you sure? Because last week you had them. No, we don't have any. It's not available. So I called John, let him know that, hey, sorry, now they don't have them. They're not available. And he says, okay, well, you know, I understand. And, you know, what can I do? What can he do? Nothing. So he was just at a dealership or talking to someone on the phone, and the subject came up, and the parts person says, well, let me check. For whatever reason, you know, he wanted to help. And so he calls up Lippert Components, gives them the same information I did, and they had the part. And now John ordered it through that dealer, which is fine with me. I have no qualms. You know, he's there. The guy did the legwork, you know. He can't split the order between 2 of us. But the thing is, they tell me they don't have the part. And just by chance, he brought this up with this parts guy at a dealership and was able to get it. Now, if he wasn't at that dealership, he might never got this relay, or would have had to settle for a used one somewhere or try to fix it, make it work. You know how that goes. It's that kind of stuff that makes it really frustrating for consumers and businesses alike to do business with somebody. And Lippert Components does sell to the retail public. They are one of those manufacturers that do that. They try to cut the dealers out of the loop. Fortunately, they sell at a higher price than we can sell for, so we can beat their prices. In other words, if the dealer's inclined, if you ever call up a dealer and they say they can't beat Power Gear's price or Lippert Components' price, that's not true. We always can beat their price. We just don't make as much. That's all. But who cares? You're making the sale. We're not trying to get rich off of every sale. We're trying to provide customer service and be competitive. That's what it's all about. So the dealer can always beat their price. Lippert Components prices their stuff high to kind of, you know, legitimatize their selling retail, which manufacturers typically over the years never sold retail. They always went through distribution channels or through dealers like myself or a dealer near you. And that's fine. You know, we don't have a problem with that, because that's how it's supposed to work. But in this modern age, you know, everybody sells to everybody. There is no loyalty anymore. Basically, all the manufacturers are whores. They sell direct. They sell on Amazon. They sell on eBay. They don't care. They cut out their dealer channels, their dealer networks, and dealers are only there for warranty work and problems that can't be resolved any other way. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining. It's just reality. The retail world has changed, and Lippert Components is one of the leaders in this change in the RV industry. Not only change in how they do business and cut out the dealer network, it's also a change in the quality of their product. Fortunately, Power Gear was a great product. They had their problems, no doubt about it, especially, some of you guys that have bought 2 or 3 motors in the last 4 years for your slide out. That's painful, but overall, they had a pretty decent product. Lippert Components, on the other hand, has a reputation of selling not so quality products. And they own a lot of different businesses, and that's what the RV industry is boiling down to. You have just a handful of companies that own the majority of the industry. Lippert Components probably owns 10 or 15 different businesses. Patrick Industries probably owns 15 different businesses. They're all combining. They're all being bought and put under, fewer roofs, if you will. And there's some dangers in that. Of course, when there's no competition, it's easier to control prices, especially in an industry that's not monitored or looked at by the government, which in some cases is good. You don't have all this government interaction. But it also allows manufacturers to do as they will, to raise prices as they want, and so forth. So it's not a gripe session here. It's just reality. The industry is changing, and Lippert Components is one of the major contributors to this bad change. So when you're trying to find Power Gear parts, you're going to have to be patient. And it's not just going to be a phone call. It's going to probably be several phone calls. Just like myself, I call 1 time a day because you're on hold for a half an hour, and you can't do that 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times a day. You just waste too much time. So it's easier to call 1 time for me, and then I get all the information I need and call out to the customers and let them know. Now, some customers get impatient, and I don't make the sale. I don't make contact. We got it elsewhere. We don't care. Whatever it is, their attitude changes. And that's fine. We're not going to get every sale, and that's not what it's about. It's just customer service. So as you think about what I'm saying here, maybe it doesn't mean anything to you because you don't have any slide out problems. Maybe you never have. Maybe you never will. But then some of you maybe have spent a lot of money on Power Gear parts. Some of you might have bought some stuff from me. We're not in control. The manufacturers are in control. And the industry has changed, and it's going to continue to change for the worse in some cases. Now, my next podcast is going to be about the RV industry as a whole, and the lack of quality, the lack of customer service, the lack of everything that you expect that is not there. It's so different than the automotive industry, not even close in comparison. But like I said, I'm not trying to be, a complainer here, but these are just realities. And we have so many people calling for Power Gear parts. And hopefully by listening to this, you'll have a little understanding. So if you don't call me, you'll be calling someone else, and you'll kind of understand their frustration. Maybe they can't get it right away, or they don't know the numbers. I was just on Power Gear's website or Lippert Components website. All their paperwork is Power Gear paperwork or, documents. It's all from 2011. They have no conversion numbers. So even still, the customer, are going to be forced to call Lippert Components. And from what I understand, you really can't find their number on their website. I have their number. I freely give it out because I don't care. But it's like they want to sell you the part, but they don't want you to be able to contact them, especially the retail public. Because that's just more phone calls, takes up more resources. So they push it through us, the dealer, which is fine. We make the phone calls, no problem there. So nonetheless, if you have a question, you need a part, a Lippert component part, whether it's Power Gear, Kwikee, or Lippert component itself, you can always call us here at Radio Arizona RV, which is actually Arizona RV Parts, and we'll be more than glad to help you. Anything to do with Power Gear, we can help you. We're not the ultimate experts, but we have a lot of experience. We probably screen 50 to 100 phone calls a week for Power Gear, so we certainly have an idea of what we're doing anyways. We figure it out. We make the phone calls, save you the hassle. You can just call us. We call you. It's that simple. So, hey, check us out on the website at radioarizonarv.com. And remember to look at our other websites if you need parts and accessories, if you need slide out fabrics, if you need some marine cordage like dock lines, anchor lines. Yeah, that's right. Dock lines, anchor lines. We do a ton of business in the marine industry with marine cordage under hotboatropes.net. It fits right in with our business model. You know, we are all about sewing and RV parts, and the sewing works for the boat ropes. So, hey, give us a call anytime, 800-789-5588. If you just want to chat, you got a question, I'm your answer man. So give me a call. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV.